All right. Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started here. This is something that we've been trying to get going for quite a while now. And I want to make sure that before we get going here that we actually have um, our folks that are been excited about this also. I'm Pastor Sherman Ray, and I'm the pastor over at Sagestone Church. And we started this page, I don't know, a couple of months ago, hoping that we would get some folks on it, that we would actually be able to get some people who are like-minded, like us, up on this page. And we called it "In God We Still Trust," and it was really all about trying to get people who are in the ministry, maybe people who are believers, to get involved in the whole process and the whole thing that we do. As a matter of fact, as you know, people who care about this country. I mean, we really do, and I think that's probably the most important part. Is if you care about this country, we encourage you to get involved in this whole process. So we started this page a couple of months ago, and we're up to, it looks like 153 followers on it. And we post on it as much as we possibly can about the things that are going on in the culture, and so finally Facebook was able to let us join in and to jump in and post on the page, and so we're very excited about that too. So now we're just kind of waiting for a great opportunity to maybe make this a part of make this a daily part of what you do. So we'll actually start a website. We'll start a Twitter following, that whole kind of thing, and we hope that you're able to do it. And so if you want to get in on the conversation, I can actually see you. So I'm watching, and I'll make it. Every once in a while I'll kind of look over to the side and hopefully be able to get you in on the conversation. Don't worry, folks. I can actually see you. So if you want to get in on that, definitely do that. We also would like you to write to us, and you can write to us in God We Still Trust. I believe that's what it is. Or is it God We Still Trust? I'll look it up. Before we end the show, folks, we'll actually get you in it, because we've been waiting for so long to get this up that it slipped my mind. And we also have the website, and it says God We Still Trust. I believe that's God We Still Trust is the website though. But anyways, I'll get this all up and we'll post it below us here, and you can actually check it out. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, today there's a couple of things we're going to talk about, and the first and probably the most important thing that we could probably talk about is the memorial for the 9/11 tragedy that happened some 14 years ago. Was it 12, 13, 14 years ago? And many of you remember that tragic day. You probably couldn't even remember what you were doing at that time. I remember it very well. I was an electrician at the time, and my wife called me up on the phone, and she said, "Honey, something is going on," and I went, "Honey, I can't talk to you right now. I'm an electrician. I'm working here. I'm working like I'm an electrician. I could kill myself." And she said, "No, honey, you need to stop whatever you're doing and look on the TV." And when I did, finally I did, probably an hour later, I was just flabbergasted. And many of you know what I'm talking about, that we saw was tantamount to a world war, and that the world was we were under attack. And when I saw it, the second plane had just gone into the second tower, and people were going, "Oh my gosh, I can't imagine." So today, folks, we commemorate that day. We commemorate that day that some 2,000 and counting people who had died as a result of the tragic events on 9/11 some 15 years ago occurred. And so we want to definitely keep those folks in our thoughts and our prayers. And for those, and some of the kids are just growing up. I mean, some of the kids were, they were babies. I mean, literally they were babies, and they don't know what happened. They were babies, and they know that their dad died of something, but they have no idea what happened. And we know what happened, and we know the amount of people who died as a result of this just senseless thing. But a lot of other things happened in the last couple of days that really kind of are emblematic of what is going on with our nation and the world. The people who attacked us on 9/11 were people who looked at our country and they said, you know what, we don't like what you guys are doing. You're Christian. You believe in this Jesus. You believe in this. You believe in this Abrahamic thing. You believe in God, and they don't believe the same way that we believe. And so as a result of that, they attacked us. Well, today we also commemorate something that happened just yesterday in Orem, Utah. Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was he was a father. He was a believer. He was an activist, a social media, political juggernaut who started an organization called Turning Point USA some 15 years ago. And and when he did, he was a young man at the time, and when he opened up he started that organization, I'm sure he didn't realize that it would get to the mega, the mega size that it is to this day. Some 3,500 colleges that he's touching, 250,000 students that he touches. Literally, he was the part of the driving force that elected Donald Trump in 2020 and then reelected him in 2016, and then 2024. When you talk about the president actually attributes much of what he calls success to this man, Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk was going on college campuses, as he had done for almost over a decade, I guess it would be. And he would tell people, if you don't agree with me, I need you to be the first ones up here in line. Because Charlie Kirk believed in something that maybe the left doesn't understand. He believed in dialogue. He believed that, guess what? Words matter. He believed, guess what? If we could talk about a situation, that he could convince you that he was right, and that the better way of looking at life and better way of looking at politics could be discussed mano a mano. Something the left evidently has not figured out yet. Because since I've been studying them, the only thing the left understands is killing. That's all they care about. That's all they know about. They all know about is death. If they can't convince you by what they say, they're going to kill you. And Charlie Kirk on yesterday, and many of you saw this, was at one of his Turning Point USA events. He'd go to college campuses, have 1,000, 2,000 people there. Just amazing. And he would sit there and talk. And, well, this time there was somebody waiting about 200 yards away with a high-powered rifle, and they shot him. It was many commentators say it was the first time since 1968 that a successful assassination on a political figure had been carried out. The first time since 1968. Not that they've not tried, guys. They've tried. They've tried a lot of times. President Trump, they've tried twice. Remember Steve Scalise? They shot him. There was a guy, Rand Paul. There was a guy who, I believe he stabbed him in the stomach. You remember, guys, it's over and over and over and over again that the left, they don't like what you do. They don't like what you say. And so they try to They try to kill you. And I'm not telling people to go out and kill people, guys. I would never do that, okay? I'm just telling you the facts. That we got a problem here, guys. And the commonality between what happened at 9/11 and the thing that happened with the tragic events that happened to Charlie Kirk are emblematic of a spiritual divide in this country. Charlie Kirk not only was a political juggernaut, but he was a man of God. And he was a man of God first, because he would tell people, guys, guess what? The reason why I do this is because I'm fulfilling the mission that God gave me. His wife came on, she talked about this, and it was just a beautiful thing that she talked about. And she said, my husband is he's a Christian. He's a Christian guy, and he wants to spread the Lord, wants to spread the message of Jesus Christ to a world that doesn't know him. And he salts it with politics, but really he's just trying to get you to see God. Really is. And somebody said, I don't like that. People said, I don't like that. And that's crazy, folks. We live in a country, America, guys, that was founded on one principle: to evangelize the new world. That's why people came here to America. It wasn't so that they could get jobs, okay? It was because they saw, and it's the same thing that happened with Christopher Columbus. Oh, I know some of you are probably not going, oh, Christopher Columbus came here to, get gold and displace the Indians. No, he did not. There's ample proof that said Christopher Columbus, along with those pilgrims who came here for one reason: to evangelize this new world. We were attacked by radical Muslims in 1812. We were in the Barbary Wars, the whole thing. And if you've been watching this, been a part of this Facebook page in length of time, you probably have seen some of the postings on this. We were already known to be a Christian nation way before, you had, Billy, or Jimmy Swaggart and Billy Graham and guys like that. Way before that, okay? They knew we were a Christian nation. And they knew that we bet the boat, we bet the farm on our way of life. And people don't like that. They don't like it at all. But guess what, guys? I'm here to tell you, there is still a remnant. If you're watching this, you're a part of this page, you are part of that remnant that says, guess what? In God, we still trust. In God, we still believe. In God, we still put all of our eggs are in one basket, and that's Jesus Christ. But some people just don't like that. So there was an article today, and I just want to just allude to it just a little bit, because I think it bears, it bears us saying something about it. Today, the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, on this fateful day, they had people in the head of Congress that were trying to get some of our elected officials, people who were sworn to our Constitution, people who are sworn an oath to our Bill of Rights, people who are sworn to uphold the laws of the United States, okay? And if you've read your Constitution, you've read your Bill of Rights, you've read the Declaration of Independence, you know that those laws and all the things that we hold true are all Christian in nature. Yeah, so if you're leading this country, you know that you're leading a Christian people based upon a Christian document, based upon a Christian ideology. Okay? I want to say that again. If you are a leader in this nation, it's because you should know. And if you don't know this, maybe you should probably think about getting out of here and go and find some other country to be a part of. We are a Christian nation. Our founding documents are Christian. Our founding principles are Christian. All of our laws are Christian. Everything we do in this nation is Christian. And if you have said, I want to be a representative of this nation, then you are probably saying, this is what you ran on, that I will run to uphold the Christian nature of this country. It's on our money, right? I could pull out a dollar bill right now. I could pull out a quarter. It's on everything we've got. In God, we trust. This is a Christian nation. You look at our founding fathers. They all said the same thing. They said this is a Christian nation. This document, this Constitution, it's for a Christian people. And if we take the Bible out of our nation, this is not America anymore. But for over 250 years, guess what's been happening, folks? We've had people who have been trying to change this nation into something that it was never meant to be. It was meant to be a Christian nation. Isn't that great? Isn't that great to think that this is what this nation was meant to be? And guess what, folks? We can still make it that way. But before we go there, okay, I want to talk about what is already happening as a result of this Charlie Kirk being assassinated. We thought maybe people would have maybe a soul. Maybe they would have a sense of, I don't know, class. Maybe class, okay? But no. When Representative, I forgot one of the representative who said, they were saying, let's have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. And then she said, no, we shouldn't have silence because silence produces silence. We need to have somebody vocally say a prayer for Charlie Kirk. So I want you to understand something, guys. This is nothing new for our House of Representatives. The first, first dozen years of this country, the biggest church in America was, guess what? I know, it was the House of Congress. Yeah, it was the biggest church there was. They had church services there all the time. Oh, it was the church. So this isn't something new that, all of a sudden, oh gosh, they're praying in the house. Okay, it was the church. And we're going to go through a lot of this in the coming weeks, but anyways. So one of the representatives said, let's stop and let's have a moment of silence. And then if somebody would mind, can we just offer up a small prayer for Charlie Kirk and his family? And all of a sudden you could hear, they've actually got recordings of this. People are going, no, well, we didn't pray for this person. Why would, oh my gosh. Really? So, because we did not pray for 20, 30 other people, not that you would have done it, that all of a sudden you're going to say, no, we're not going to pray for a man, the first time a person was assassinated, a political juggernaut, a man who obviously is 84 million followers, Charlie Kirk had, worldwide. This guy was a phenom. He was like Lincoln. When Lincoln died, guess what? When Lincoln died, many of you probably can check this out. When Lincoln died, he had his detractors. Okay, he had his detractors. Matter of fact, half the nation hated him because guess what? He stopped that slavery thing. Oh my gosh! Well, too bad. He stopped that whole slavery thing. But when he died, after he was assassinated, they took his body and they put it on a train, and they took a circuitous route, big circular route, throughout New York and Philadelphia and places on the East Coast, and they made a trip around the nation so that people could pay their respects to Lincoln. And they did it for I think it was for a week, 2 weeks, it was something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it was something like that. And they took a route around so that they could see him. And guess what? People lined the tracks and they said, Lincoln, yes, we lost our sons, we lost our daughters, some of us lost our livelihood because we are, as a nation, had to agree to the Emancipation Proclamation. but we respect you because you tried to bring people together. We've believed, we maybe not have agreed with you, but we respected you. You look at that nowadays, guys. That was back in the 1860s. We're now in 2025. Charlie Kirk, Christian man, who talked about Jesus more than he talked about anything else. On the House of the Floor, you had Congress people saying, no, we're not going to pray for that guy. Oh, I don't think we're going to pray for him. And let me give you something else that maybe will just freak you out. Many of you know who this person is, Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar. This is a story from the New York Post, and they said Squad Representative Ilhan Omar, and I've not even read this whole article. I was so shocked when I heard about this. I cannot believe people would actually stoop to this level. Ilhan Omar, Democrat from Minnesota, went on a cruel rant about murdered conservative activist Charlie Kirk, scoffing at the notion that his core mission was to have a civil debate on politics. There's a lot of people who are talking about him, Kirk, just wanting to have a civil debate. This is Ilhan Omar saying it. She sneered to progressive outlets, whatever this name is. I want to tell you what the name of this outlet was. These people are all full of, and she said an expletive. And it's important for us to call them out while we feel anger and sadness. Okay. Here's the difference between the left and the right. Here's the difference between Christians and non-Christians. Here's the difference between those with the Spirit of God in them and the people who have the spirit of the devil in them. And I'm going to say it the way it is. Sue me if you want. When we saw things go not the way the left wanted, what did they do? They burned cities. They killed people. Remember back in 2020, folks, there was a, it was 2016, 2017. We had that summer of love, they called it. It was a summer of love because it was mostly peaceful protesters who were upset about George Floyd, and they were upset about this, then they were something. And what did they do? Somebody who they didn't know, somebody who had never spoken, he was not known outside of his own neighborhood. They burned down city blocks, city after city after city after city. The newspapers were all aflame about it. They were going, oh, look at what's going on. The rest of the world looked at America and they said, America's on fire. Ilhan Omar was of that ilk. Ilhan Omar and people like her are of that ilk, where they can't just say, you know what? This guy died. I might not have agreed with him, but I will fight for his ability to say what he has to say. Because this is America. This is not Ethiopia. This is not Yemen. This is not wherever she's from. Okay? In America, guess what? I may not agree with you. I may not agree with anything you say, okay? There's a lot of people who are not Christians, okay? I don't agree with, and I definitely don't agree with it, okay? But I would never vilify you. I will never tell you that you're, I would never throw stones at you. I would try to convince you that the direction that leads to heaven is better than where you're headed to right now. I would never be like this. And most Christians would agree with me. The difference between the left and the right is it's huge. Right now, if this had happened, if somebody on the left had been killed, let's say, I don't know, I'm not even going to say a person's name. Somebody on the left. Doesn't even matter. They wouldn't even have to be somebody who was known outside of their block. If somebody on the left were killed right now, there would be fires burning all over America. right? Charlie Kirk. People are they're comparing him. One guy did. He was a rabbi. He compared him to Abraham, and I went, "Wow, that's pretty big." I don't know if I would compare him to Abraham. I would compare him to some of the greatest civil rights activists ever. His name will go down. People will be saying the name Charlie Kirk for generations. Turning Point USA will probably be even bigger as a result of this. Because people will say, you know what, we're going to get involved. Young people, literally 250,000 people strong, are going to be in the streets. If you thought there was a red wave or this last election cycle, I guarantee you right now, folks, it's going to be huge this midterm election. If the Democrats were hoping for a miscue by the right, something bad happened, the miscue was another wacko Democrat going out and shooting a bullet and literally killing one of the biggest names in Christianity and in popular political culture. Folks, I want to say something in closing here because we're about done. We're going to try to do these podcasts as often as I possibly can. We'll not only we'll live stream them on our Facebook page. I want to live stream these as much as I can on our Facebook page. But we also have a YouTube channel, and we've already put some up on our YouTube channel. So we want to make sure you watch us on our YouTube channel, and it's In God We Still Trust. And also we'll have it up on Godstream TV, and we'll also have a YouTube channel. We'll have Twitter, Instagram, and we're going to put up as much as we can because really we want, as a matter of fact, we even have a t-shirt, and I didn't wear it. I should have worn it. But it says, In God We Still Trust. Many of you have already seen our logo already, but I want you to get this, folks, not so we can make money, guys. We're not making any money on this stuff, okay? We put it all back into the ministry. We put it all back into the podcast so that more and more people can hear In God We Still Trust. So if you can help us out, we'd love to hear from you. We will actually put this, we'll put all this information below us here on our Facebook page, and we hope that you actually listen to this as much as you possibly can, and encourage other people, to listen to us. Okay, join our Facebook page. Matter of fact, reach out, share this with as many people as you can, because all it takes for sin and all it takes for anarchy to win is one generation of people folding their hands and folding their arms and saying somebody else will do it. You can be a part of this massive movement because it's In God We Still Trust. This has been Pastor Sherman Ray for In God We Still Trust, you guys. Once again, look below us here in our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel, and you'll have all the information about how to contact us, and we hope to check you out next time. Okay, it's been Pastor Sherman Ray. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.